You wish to know the scaled ancients? Those who were here long before the first raft reached any island? The Tanga Takoru? We do not speak clearly to them, nor they to us. I think they cannot. Their mouths are not like ours, and so their voices are not like ours. Still, we know some things. They are guides, guardians, judges, avengers, avatars of stone and water. You want to know why they have not destroyed us? Listen then to our beginnings. Long ago, before we built our houses and our docks and our fortifications, this island was a place for fishermen to visit. The harbor is bounteous and shielded from storms, so some decided to stay, to build a new home. They made a little village, and in the night, a line of fresh planted seedlings with red leaves appeared, not far into the bush. This far and no further was the message. This was fine. We were fishermen. We did not need the land. When the raiders came, they made a mistake. They crossed the line trying to ambush us. They were dead before their fifth pace. We knew who had made the line, for we had seen them. Our saviors, intended or not, green and blue, scaled like the little lizards who sunned themselves on warm rocks. They watched us from the land, and we watched them from the edge of the sea. Then came their emissary, a tiny little thing like a child. She drew pictures on the sand. First the Koru, the unfolding spiral of the fern. We called her Koru at first, after that symbol, for she had pointed at herself. But it was not so. Her people were the people of the Koru, believers in life and growth. We named them in time. They wish for all things to grow and be blessed. The fish, the pigs, the trees, the ferns, even humans. They are not warlike. They do not wish to die, nor do they wish to kill. So I ask you, Pale Man, what have you done to make them destroyers? Both of us read through the background compendium, is that the right word? Background compendium for the Saurian Ancients in the Ninth Age, and I think we both really enjoyed it. My first question is, I enjoyed the whole thing. We'll dig in a little deeper. But my question to the audience is, would you guys like to see a review of the background compendium, or would you like to see us do a dramatic reading? If you remember, I did the one dramatic reading for the Vermin Swarm. I really enjoyed doing that video. I got some great comments, but like not a lot of views. So let me know what you guys want. I'd be happy to do both. But Vespasian, what did you think of the Saurian Ancients Background Compendium?
So I maybe not known, but I, huge fan of the old world's background, right? I mean, I've read them, like all the bloody books and like everything. I used to write stories for my armies back in the old Warhammer days. I love the background. So the background for the Ninth Age has been a special focus area of mine, with sort of mixed feelings overall. I'm loving these new background compendiums as a way to get some content out independent of the lab process, right? So that it can be getting out something more substantive and more deep more quickly. And I thought that the Saurian Ancients one was actually a really great, in my opinion, kind of archetype where they sort of thread the needle between that sort of spiritual successor concept, right? So grounded in some way in the kind of GW concepts, right? But also taking some things in a new direction that I felt it actually made the race a little bit more accessible, I think, as a gamer, right? The GW issue with the Saurians, where it was just sort of like they're sort of magically there, and they were the tools of the old ones, and now what are they up to, and what's going on, and what drives them.
Yeah,
Um,
it was much more a mystery in the old world, like of what they were doing there. Yeah.
and this one, it preserved some elements of that, while also just sort of like, I think, kind of like, pulling aside the kimono and giving you like some actual understanding of what it is they're up to and what they're trying to do. So I really enjoyed it and thought they did a neat job on it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they did some little tweaks, like the idea that the Quaddle is not like the overlord, but more like the outcast that the Saurian Ancient Society kind of controls, and they're like kind of tricksters. Kind of cool. The idea that the Cayman are like warrior poets, wanderers, philosophers. Kind of like that concept. But what I really liked the most about it was the idea of vitalism. Like their because like you think about most fantasy worlds, and they always boil down to worshiping some sort of god, and like this vitalism is like taking it the other direction. That's completely different. Like they're like almost like pragmatists, so like they want to just like do good, and it's mathematical, and like you must always make the decision that does the most good for the earth, like kind of situation. At least that's the way I read it. I thought that was super interesting, super different. I loved it. And then they also did the same thing that they're doing, I think, with all the background compendiums. They're like leaving room for the Saurian Ancients to not just be lizards in the jungle. They could also be kind of lizards in the desert, in the plains. They're a little different. Like, I like that idea too. They're like, every race, they're doing this for every race. Like, this race can exist kind of anywhere in the world in any condition. So I am extremely happy.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, I think that the one thing, the sort of like, why did we fight concept, I think that was always, you sort of had to like, these are not the droids you're looking for. When the UD were fighting, some army on the other side of the world, right?
Yeah.
Or sorry, the Tomb Kings, and the Legacy one. But now they have done a very intentional and thoughtful job of like, this could be a fight that happens anywhere for very mundane and reasonable reasons, like trade and territory control or ideological differences, and I do think that they also leave open, there's little Easter eggs in there, right? Like here's one that is all skinks, right? Or one that is heavily monster focused, or one that is a seafaring, right? I mean, that's really cool. I don't think anybody's done a Saurian's army that was like a
seafaring. Yeah, they
would,
did mention that. They mentioned
they left some room.
Yeah, in the background they mentioned like barges. They described them as like barges with like a bunch of Saurian ancients on them. That's cool. And also I liked how there's numerous stories where like human societies, or like quote unquote civilized societies, were like interacting with Saurian ancients on a daily basis, and some they weren't. Like yeah. Nonetheless, I was very happy with it.
Well done. Kudos to the team. I think this is, a great archetype and a good. They hit that sort of tough to balance medium point of looking backwards while looking forwards and being different.
I couldn't agree more.